The interior has been vacuumed, the exterior has been waxed, and the driver has been cited for solicitation. Time to take the high road. Pause for dramatic effect.
Soliciting for what?
All right.
Or
Butthole? Butthole sniffs? Sir, we've seen you out on the streets butthole sniffing.
soliciting for a sniff.
Soliciting sniff.
Or a sniff.
What I get myself into. Oh,
Yeah, if you want to bail out now, you can before you can make your day productive after this.
All right. So this is my cousin Christian Jimenez. And when I think about music, specifically 90s music, I think of Christian. You are all thing 90s, 80s and 90s, but if anything, you are you would be my go-to guy if I had questions about 90s rock or alt rock, grunge rock, whatever. Um, can you give us a little overview as to why you're such a 90s rock guy?
I thought we were talking about the 80s music, so I'm gonna have to exit. No. Yeah, honestly, this super sappy, but you being the host of the show, I always looked up to you as an older brother, and I feel like that was our strongest connection. A younger brother looks up to their older brother. They kind of try to, emulate what they are into. And so as complimentary as you are with me knowing about 90s music, I just geek out over that whole decade and halfway through the 80s and beyond. But the thing about 90s music and anything nostalgic is it takes you back to a time where you had a lot less responsibility. Life was just a little bit more free. It wasn't so instant. And for me, really the biggest part is that I felt like that was an opportunity to connect with somebody who wasn't my older brother, but I viewed you as my older brother. So even to this day, like, we'll occasionally send a text message here, chat here and there, and it always brings me back to that connection, that bond that I have. And, driving around in your Beretta and listening to 90s music. It's a time machine. That's what it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's like a time capsule almost, right? Well, I appreciate that, man. I always looked at you as like the brother I didn't have as well.
I didn't have a brother either.
Okay, well, I have nothing for that.
That's what I'm going to do for this show. I'm just going to just slip in some pointless comments.
You're right. So like radio was a big deal. We kind of talked about that a little bit in our last episode. Like radio was such a huge part of our lives and your life. We were talking about how we were making like mixtapes just off the radio station. There was nothing like driving around or just being in your house listening to radio and then them playing something you'd never heard before on the radio, or waiting for a band that you had heard have a new song. And MTV was a little bit like that too, but I think radio, because you were constantly near it, played a bigger part in that.
Yeah, I mean, and that kind of goes back to the instant gratification piece that I remember rushing home from school. Like, you knew a premiere, like a song premiere was going to be on at a certain time during the day. And I can literally remember laying down on my carpet floor with my boombox in front of me, my cassette tape in when whatever song it was I'm anticipating was coming on. And you just appreciated those things. And I think this is consistent with toys too from that era. Is like everybody knew the same music, everybody had the same toys. Like, you can connect with somebody from the 80s and 90s right now and talk about a couple of things. You're like, oh yeah, I had that as a kid growing up, or I wish I did. Everybody had it.
Yeah, true. I think like there was that era. It was like we weren't as connected as we are now, but in a way there was less going on, so you almost were more connected in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
I like good connections. No, no, but the access. I think connected access. I think you had to, if you wanted a certain toy or you wanted a certain song, you had to sit at the radio and wait to record it. You couldn't really just go out and or you couldn't just download it from home. You know what I mean? And I think if you wanted a certain game or toy, like even like video games, you like tried to go to the store as soon as it came out, and like you tried to be the first one to get something. And I think that was just the time for it. Now everything's just I literally just ordered something last night on Amazon for Everton, and it showed up this morning. And so I think with music, you had to be patient until it came on the radio and then record it, and I think it was just you had to be more patient, you had to be more disciplined with either trying to wake up early and get to the store or whatever the case may be. And I think kids can't really comprehend that. And I think that's what makes it so nostalgic for us who grew up in the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow, I didn't know you had that in him.
I wrote that for him
all these years.
Yeah, we were talking about that a lot last episode too. Was my kids and maybe your kids will never have that. You have to go look for something, right? Like the music, we had to go to record stores or department stores, the mall, whatever, to go find music, find records, find CDs, whatever you're looking for. Whereas now you just hop on the internet and you got it instantly. So there is that patience aspect, which is kind of funny because I feel like the 90s music, the alt rock music was a little bit, I think it resonated with us for our age group because there was a type of boredom, right? But it was almost like a glorified boredom. Like even looking at the Weezer's "Say It Ain't So" video, it's like they're just in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Smells Like Teen Spirit, they were just bored on stage. There was a boredom that we took like solace in, I guess, or maybe like we're proud of that.
Yeah, but I feel like if we were bored, it's just like, oh, let's go ride bikes or let's go do something else. It wasn't like, oh, I'm bored, and they just sit around in the house and want their device and just zone out on a device for 4 hours. I just feel like if you weren't if the what was going on wasn't cool with you, you just got out and did something else. And I think that's kind of, you have to like force your kids to go do something else besides just want to watch TV or be on our device. And I feel like we're talking about old stuff constantly, but I think every generation kind of thinks about their music and it's nostalgic, and everyone who grew up in the 70s or 70s to 80s looks back on the 70s and just reminisces about their childhood. And I think it's a continuous thing that happens, every 10, 15 years with different styles of music. And I think it was pretty good in the 2000s. So if you were born in the late 90s, I think you had a pretty good, music intro. I don't know what you would say about it now, but I think that was a great connection that me and James had right off the bat when we became friends in high school.
To the boredom piece too, that connects to it being an act of rebellion. I feel like I've always had that element, but the grunge alternative scene, it was like boredom and a lack of being productive and disciplined, I think was an act of rebellion because you didn't want to be corporate, you didn't want to be clean cut. And so I think that boredom piece connects to that because generations ahead, they were constantly going and meticulous with their day and their plans and organization. And so part of an act of rebellion, which is in keeping with the whole grunge theme.
Absolutely.
So you kind of hit on like why it was important, but was there like a sound or a band or something that made you like click? Because you and I grew up listening to a lot of rap and R&B first off, and I kind of hit on that a little bit a couple episodes ago. Was there a sound or a song or something that like hit you and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this music's different than what I've been listening to?
Up listening to the hip hop and R&B, and we had to get up out the hood. You know how that life was. It was rough for us.
It was too dangerous. No, you're right. Where did you grow up, Christian?
Northeast Clovis.
No, don't lie. I spent many a day out in Selma, California.
That was the ghetto side of the valley for sure.
Selma. But I would say like for me, where I started getting into rock, funny enough, was when I was getting ready to move up to the Fresno Clovis area, and we were going to the same school. And I remember my Walkman and really starting to get into rock as I was moving from Selma to the Fresno Clovis area. I swear to you, I will never forget to like being on campus at Fresno Christian where they had the food truck. And I had never, this poor Hispanic dude, I had never Airheads in my life until I went to that school. And I remember you'd always have the hookup, like we weren't allowed to go to the food truck, it's only the older kids. And so you'd sneak me some stuff. I had my first Airhead, but that was like the whole shift for me, going from hip hop, R&B to the alternative grunge rock scene. But for me, for sure, it was Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam. And then as I got into about 7th grade, I started getting into Weezer, but Pearl Jam predates that for me for sure.
All hopped up on Airheads, just rocking out the Pearl Jam, huh? Give me
Yeah.
another Airhead.
Their t-shirts too.
That's true. We 7th graders and 8th graders got to use the food truck, but the elementary school didn't. So I'd run over and give you some candy. I was your pusher.
Got
Getting
'em
you hooked. I had to get you hooked on the
quick.
Airheads.
Get them young.
Yeah, so I hit on that too. I said Pearl Jam was the band. You know, I'd heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I like this. But I never had the album. But then I heard the Pearl Jam songs, you know, Jeremy, and then I was saying I liked the Versus album, and then went to go get that album, but I didn't realize Vitology had come out. So Vitology, I think, was like the first real alt rock CD that I had, and that sort of changed my perspective on music. So it's interesting to hear you say that. I have a vivid memory of us like waking up one day listening, and what was it? It was
The Offspring.
The Offspring. That's right. I can't think of the name of the song though.
Self-Esteem.
Oh, that's what it was. Self-Esteem. And I think it was the first time we'd ever heard it. We're like, what is this? It was like our alarm clock going on, getting ready for school, I think.
Yeah, I kind of, maybe I remember it a little bit differently. I feel like we didn't talk about it till the morning. Like it happened in the middle of the night. It was like a middle of the night premiere. And without even talking, this is the way my mind remembers that. I could be totally wrong because your mind's more like an elephant than mine. But I remember hearing this song. I was like, oh, that's so amazing. It was just such a unique sound. And then waking up in the morning, it was crazy because, again, my memory. Then we're talking about this song in the middle of the night, and it's like, I heard that too. And then it ended up just blowing up. But yeah, that was a cool experience.
No, I think you're right. I think maybe my alarm went off super early, like maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. And then we didn't get up, you know, till like 7 or something. And we didn't really say anything about it. We're like, wait, did you hear that song like earlier? We're like, oh yeah, that was it. And I think we like waited around forever to hear it again, you know, because we obviously didn't have the internet back then. But yeah, that was a very vivid memory of mine. Yeah, I think you're right. We heard it like earlier and kind of didn't say anything about it, and then came up later on.
Yeah, let's move on from this story.
Well, going back to like patience and stuff, Christian, you were saying that you have older kids than I do. So your son's 17, 18?
18.
18. So, you know, to go back to like, well, we were searching for music. Like, what's his musical taste right now, and like, how does it compare to yours, or how is it a little different?
Yeah, so he went into a full-on like multi-year Weezer binge where he was, researching Rivers, like he knows his whole life story. And I think for my son, because, you know, being a military brat, like moving out here to where we're at, that was a hard time in his life. And he found music as like a bridge to understanding his emotions. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but that's really what I saw in him. And he was, I think, connecting with a lot of the anxiety, the depression, the emotions that Rivers, you know, shares in his music and all in some of the interviews he does. And so he just like dove into that and got really, really deep into Weezer. And I tell you, it was so surreal, man. We went to a Weezer concert a couple of years ago, and I took him, my daughter, who was, you know, at the time, I think 12. And it was so crazy seeing them just rocking out to this band that you and I went to as teenagers. I'm like, this is nuts. Like, and I think about, you know, what it would have been like. I never did this with my parents, but it would have been the equivalent of going to like a Grateful Dead show or something to that effect, Led Zeppelin. And it was this cool full circle moment. But here's what's crazy. Like, so he got real big into Weezer, Pearl Jam, I'd say by far and Nirvana, the 3 bands that they got into the most. But so then I gave him one of my record players. Then he starts collecting vinyl records. And just in the last year, he used to save his money and not spend his money. And he has blown through his savings buying CDs, which is crazy. Like, he'll go to thrift stores, he'll go to, you know, other music stores, record stores, and he has this massive CD collection now. And it's so funny. Like I just bought him one of these. And if you don't have one, It's a Bluetooth CD player that it plays CDs, but it Bluetooths to your car so you can listen to your CD collection. He was just blown away by it, and he's rolling around with the visor, where you put the CDs in the visor, and he's got his CD cases with him. We just went to Europe, and he was trying to figure out how to pack as many CDs as he could. I'm like, dude, you can't carry all that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So like he's almost living your life again in a way. Like
Yeah, he really is.
you're watching him.
Let's make sure he makes the most of it, huh?
It's supposed to be the other way around. Like you're supposed to live vicariously through your kids, but he's living vicariously through my CD collection. And it is really cool to see.
Well, he's got Google to look up everything. We had to actually like find a book or a magazine about it to know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool in a way that he's immersed himself into it where, I'm just going off of my 13-year-old where it's just instant music, like touch something, you play the music into your earbuds that aren't really attached to anything, no attachment. I was talking about that a little bit last episode, the tangible part of like music, like holding it, reading the liner notes, looking at the pictures. So it's cool that like your son, and maybe, I don't know if your daughter's doing it as well, but doing that kind of just, which is very similar because I think like there was a time period in my life where I found, my mom and dad's old records and was looking at all like the Led Zeppelin liner notes and looking at the actual physical copy of the records. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So, I mean, I guess it still happens, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. That you don't get with digital. You don't get to open up something physical. You don't get to smell the print, and those are things that these kids, they really miss out on.
What I love doing is when I see a kid that looks, under 18 and they're wearing like a Nirvana shirt or some type of 90s band. I was like, oh, what's your favorite song by them? Like by who? And I'll say the band that they're wearing, and they'll just be like, oh, I don't know. Like, oh my God. Definition of poser, right? Because like back in the day, you'd be a poser on some stuff. You not know a lot about a band, but you just be like, yo, NWA, what's up? I was like, you're a white kid from Clovis. What do you know about rap?
Oh, you're one of those guys. Name 3 songs.
No, I ask them in a friendly way. I'm not trying to call them out, but it's just
kid on
interesting
the
that.
street. 3 songs now.
Well, I wore my dad. My dad didn't have band T-shirts. He had Hawaiian T-shirts, and I would take those and wear those to school. But I don't think there's anything wrong with
Name
wearing
3 tropical fruits.
pineapple, mango, kiwi,
Monkey.
Wait, how many kids do you have, Christian? I don't know anything about you or your family anymore.
So my oldest is 18, getting ready to go off to college. Got a daughter who's 14, and then my youngest is 11.
Oh, wow. And all from the same wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe that your kids, well, you said 13?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any kids.
Well,
Oh, you're talking to James. Okay.
He's my oldest.
Oh, yeah. Jake, how old is he?
44.
50.
44 this July. What's up, baby?
Yeah, so mine 13 and 11. So, and it's funny because Everton, the oldest, is into his favorite artist is 50 Cent, which is funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the hip hop route, which is fine because I was there for a long time too.
Yeah.
James Lilly's more indie rock stuff.
Maybe it's something genetic going on with you guys, you and your kids.
Maybe. So do you remember, we kind of talked about this, Jake and I, a couple episodes ago, but do you remember what like your first cassette tape or CD? It doesn't have to be like alt rock or grunge rock, but something that like was your first music purchase that you wanted that wasn't maybe given to you as like a gift or something like that.
Yes. So I can't remember my first cassette, but I can remember my first few. And it was Vanilla Ice to the Extreme. Janet Jackson.
Rhythm Nation? Wait, go back. Was it Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation?
Yeah, Rhythm Nation. Yeah. And then the Boys, Message from the Boys. I don't know if you remember that, Dial My Heart.
Oh, yeah.
And the Simpsons Sing the Blues.
That's right.
Do the Bartman. I love that.
I forgot about that.
I'm not
familiar.
familiar.
Was Bartman on that?
Yeah, Bartman. That was the best one.
Yeah, I guess I was just not part of that scene.
Do you remember what your first like alt rock CD purchase was?
I was racking my brain trying to figure that out. I can't remember, but all I can think of is I remember paying 1 penny for 12 CDs through Columbia House. So
we talked about that I had an outstanding balance due when I went to in the Navy, and it was still getting mail from them until like 2000, 2001.
Yep, I'm still working on my credit score from that.
Hey, no, I think we all are.
Young kids, suckers.
All right, that's cool. So I see the record posted up next to you. I was gonna ask you maybe about some underrated bands from the '90s that maybe don't get enough attention.
Give them a little shout out.
Yeah, why don't you give them a little shout out, Christian?
Yeah, that's an easy answer for me. It's Blind Melon Soup. I feel like that one just flew under the radar. You had No Rain. Everybody knew about that, and it just never really got the notoriety that it deserved. It's so good, start to finish. One of the best albums I've ever heard.
Jake, are you familiar with it?
I'm actually not familiar with it, but before I wanted to throw one out there too, which you'll probably make fun of me, but that's okay. I'm used to it. I will check out that Blind Melon album because I want to take you wholeheartedly on your opinion. Oh, see you later. Okay.
No,
Hi,
I'm
Kristen.
there.
It's like just I'm out. Jake's talking to
Oh,
him.
Jake's opinion. Bye.
Hey guys, have a good day.
Right. No, and I didn't really appreciate it till later on, but I think Marcy's Playground, that one CD they came out with, I don't even know if they came out with the second one, but I thought that was really good. And if I went back and listened to it a couple years back, and I was like, there's like 4 or 5 really good songs on there. I'm not saying every song on the album was good, but I think they had the Sex and Candy and like 2 hits that were really
St.
popular.
Joe on the school bus.
St. Joe on the School Bus.
It's Saturday.
But I think that one's one of the better ones. So if you like those 2 on the Marcy Playground, go listen to all the songs on the album. I think you're gonna find like 3 or 4 more that you're like. But I definitely want to, after we're done with the show, I'm gonna go listen to that Blind Melon Soup. Right?
So good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look at it, world.
I guess I'll throw one out. I really like that 7 Mary 3 album.
Oh,
came out.
really?
Yeah. I need to go back and-
Is that Cumbersome?
Cumbersome, yeah, but it was that whole album I really enjoyed.
I gotta listen to that again because I think I only remember like 2 songs.
Oh, he's got it.
Oh,
he's got it.
quick on the draw.
Say something, Christian, so it goes. Wait, show it.
7 Mary 3. That is one of the best. Like I remember when I first heard of them, we all thought they were going to be the next Metallica. That's what everybody was like. All the radio hosts were saying, "Oh, they're the next Metallica," and then they have like one album, and I'm sure they put out more. And
Christian,
Yeah.
I don't know what state you're in, but they need to work on their Wi-Fi.
here, I'm gonna turn my camera off.
That's probably better for the audience.
I know.
Utah
Is
doesn't
that-
have Wi-Fi.
Oh, you're in Utah? Where in Utah? What's your address?
We want to ship you something.
No, seriously, I'm actually coming through Utah, visiting a Navy buddy in Provo. Are you near
Oh,
Salt Lake
that's
or Provo?
awesome. Don't look me up.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Cool.
No, Salt Lake. I'm only like 25 minutes north of Salt Lake.
Oh, that might be a little too far out of my way. I'm probably not going to stop and see you.
Where are you going? Where are you headed?
It's Provo. I'm right now. I'm in Long Beach, but I'm doing my West Coast road trip, and I'll be heading up to Clovis tomorrow probably, and then going through Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, and then I'll go from Lake Tahoe to Provo. So
Well, if you're going from Tahoe to Provo, you'll pass right through Salt Lake.
yeah. But I'm gonna just keep going. I'm gonna hit Salt Lake and then go south. So I don't want to go north. That's like if I have to go an hour out of my way to see you, it's not worth it.
No, well, maybe I can meet you down in Salt Lake for a burger or something.
Well, I'm gonna be really short on time, but
Okay, whatever, bro. Whatever.
see how I'm throwing it back at you. You pretend you didn't want to see me. Now I'm doing it to you. No,
Hey.
yeah, absolutely, man. I'll text you once we get done with the show. I'll text you ballpark dates, and then yeah, absolutely. If we could try and just meet up for coffee or something to eat, and then I'll get back on the road for sure.
Yeah, chew on some protein powder and call it a
Yeah.
day.
Stock up on my beef jerk.
Maybe you guys can meet at the Fog Bank.
Ooh,
Bank relocated to Salt Lake City.
DJ Anonymous.
We should. We should franchise the Fog Bank.
Oh my gosh.
Just have fog banks everywhere.
Yeah, dude. We should hit on that guy's musical journey. Who was it again that we saw?
I forgot the.
He just said it, DJ Anonymous.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I didn't know if I couldn't remember if a band was playing or if it was just the DJ.
That's it. So Christian, out in Utah, I'm not familiar with that state, but you're saying your son take him to concerts and stuff. Is there a lot of concerts out there out in Utah? Like, do you get the opportunity to see some of these bands?
I mean,
No.
There's a few. It's not like huge out here, but they do have a really cool local scene. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the name of the venue, but really small venue, really cool. A lot of like local bands up and come through that particular venue, and so they got a cool little scene out here. But we'll get occasional big bands. Like we've got the Delta Center, for your huge bands. Like Pearl Jam would play at a Delta Center type venue, but not as good as you guys get out there in California.
Yeah. All right.
I think you had the question about the island, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll wait for that. I got to think through that one though.
Okay.
Well, we came here prepared, so we have our list.
Well, and it doesn't have to be 90s music. So none of mine is really 90s. But the question I was going to pose to you guys was, if you're stuck on an island with like an unlimited battery of an iPod, but no Wi-Fi, so you can't get any new songs. There's, caveat here. No new songs, but you could put 5 to 10 songs that you'd have to listen to the rest of your life. What do you think would be your playlist?
Ooh.
Well, I don't like to think negative like that, but if I there's I don't know, when I was going through, I have my favorite songs, and actually a lot of my favorite songs are like not sad, but they're like well, one of them was like Band of Horses, The Funeral, and it's like, man, I'm stuck on an island by myself. Do I really want to listen to depressing songs? I might end up ending the battery life sooner than I should. But yeah, I had multiple ones, mostly from the 2000s. But I'm gonna go back and do a shout out to some old school stuff, and then I'll move forward in my timeline as far as my songs. One of the older songs, I didn't pick any Beatles or a lot of classic rock that some people might pick. But one of my favorite classic rock bands is Supertramp, and on my list I have From Now On and Give a Little Bit. And I think those are my two favorite. And a lot of people don't know Supertramp, and they'll heard of Dreamer. They've heard the song Dreamer because there were some remakes on that one. But yeah, Supertramp, From Now On, and Give a Little Bit would be two on my list.
So taking up 5 spots, you're giving 2
Well,
to
that's
Supertramp?
That's with 10.
Okay, so you're doing 10.
Yeah, with only one song, I'd pick From Now On.
So that number 5 you'd put From Now On.
Correct.
Oh, dear heavens! You scared me.
Sorry, audience. Sorry about that. That was unprofessional.
So for my number 5, I went with "Never Ending Math Equation" by Modest Mouse.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Yeah, that would be my number 5. I'm picking 5 songs.
Christian, we're just going to keep stalling. We'll go through our list, and then hopefully you have a few by the time we're done. Okay? Does that sound good? I feel like you're under pressure, like at work.
No pressure.
Someone gave you a last minute task that has to get done in like 2 hours, and you're just like, let me get this done real quick. He knows. He's military. He knows people giving him last minute BS that he has to try and scramble to make happen. All right. So my number 4, I think, would be The Wrens, She Sends Kisses.
Wow.
I really like the song. Once again, it's like a slow, what's the word? Not melancholy. Not serenading, but it's a good song. It's a slower song that has, I think, some good guitar. The lyrics are nothing special, but I like the mellow, long, kind of drawn out, good songs like that.
Okay.
The Wrens.
That's interesting.
She Sends Kisses.
I like the Wrens. I like that album. I think with my number 4, I'll go with "Hollywood Forever Cemetery Sings" by Father John Misty.
I actually don't have any idea what that is. I'd have to hear it. I have no idea.
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song that I could listen to on repeat. Basically, all these songs are the ones that I could kind of listen to on repeat, and not get sick of them.
So should we advise the audience, if you really want to know what you're willing to deal with on an island, like on a road trip, like say you're doing an hour-long road trip, same song the entire time. Let's see if you can get through it.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think if you were driving in LA to your chiropractor and you would put on that song and you would listen to it, you could listen to it the entire time?
I think so. I think my top 5 I could listen to the whole time. Yeah, that was the point of the exercise.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if you haven't done it, at least give it a little test. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do it.
Just see it. See it. All right, Christian hasn't waved to us, so we're gonna keep going.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was just letting you guys finish the thought.
Oh. Oh, don't do that.
No, we have
You'll
really
never
bad
talk,
thoughts.
yeah.
Okay, I just, because I was put on the spot, I confined mine to the 90s
Nice.
just to
No,
make
that's
it simple. So 5 would be Black by Pearl Jam.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Yes.
so good.
So
It's
so those are the type of songs that I was kind of picking. So that one's a great one.
it's a lot of different feelings. Say It Ain't So by Weezer.
your number 4.
Yeah. I
Okay,
didn't
cool.
put them in like exact
Oh.
order, just, but yeah.
Okay, one of your top 5. All right, then Jake, you want to go with your third one?
Third one.
Sorry. I see.
It's okay. You're all caught up
No,
now.
you're caught up now. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
we both done
Mhm.
too.
Now you got to pump the brakes, all right, and let us take over, okay?
Jake gets very possessive of his show.
Of
Mm.
our show. Oh, he doesn't want to hold hands. My next pick would be a Modest Mouse one. Also, it's talking bleep about a pretty sunset. All right, the song is talking shit about a pretty sunset.
Whoa.
I really like that. We'll go. You bleep that out on your own.
Good song. My number 3 is "Fine Young Cannibals" by Wolf Parade.
Ooh,
The reason I like that, it's a very long song. So my last 3 are pretty long.
I went for plus 7-minute songs just because
Yes.
it's the only songs I'll be listening to for a while.
That is correct.
Good strategy.
Christian, what you got next?
I would do Sucked Out by Super Drag.
Ooh, we just listened to that one.
Yep, that's on
The
the
like
last
raspiness
episode.
in his voice.
I'm gonna have to call you out real quick, Christian. How many of our episodes have you listened to or watched?
Uh
Don't lie to me. I can see you.
this one right now. This is the first
This is
one.
the one that he's seen.
Wow.
He's gonna go back. He's gonna go back catalog.
Yeah.
Your next road trip, just start on episode 1 and just work your way through. Okay. It's just their masterpiece after masterpiece.
That is a very underrated song. I actually played it last episode for one of my favorite videos. You remember the video, Christian?
I can't remember the video.
They're in the diner and they're just like
Oh,
rocking
yeah.
out the very like retro looking diner, mid-century modern looking place. Did you like that album? I was really kind of bummed about that album. It wasn't a great album, but that song was fantastic.
That was the only song I listened to on that album.
Yeah, that's a bummer when that happens. That was the other bad part about the 90s. You go buy an album and only like 1 or 2 songs, then you're like, oh, oops.
You know what I've found is that when you go back to those albums now, even being a little bit older, you're just like,
Yeah, you'll find more. Yeah.
Or you opposite. You say, what was I thinking? That was terrible.
All right, Jake, you want your number 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna go number 2. My number 2 would be Built to Spill, Time Trap.
Wow.
Because you're stuck on an island in a time trap, essentially. So, but no, it's a great song. I could listen. I've almost every time I listen to that song, I listen to it twice. I just repeat just one more time.
Well, it's funny. My number 2 is a Built to Spill song as well, Going Against Your Mind, which I see you have written on your notes as well. Another, what is that? Like a 10-minute song?
11 I think
minutes?
it's 7. No, it's only like 7 or 8.
Okay.
That's still not shabby.
Yeah. All right, Christian, where are you?
You got 2 more we need from you.
2 more. I would do for some feel good sounds, Two Princes by Spin Doctors.
Nice.
My kids
right, hold
love
on.
that too. My kids are huge into that song.
Hold on to the last one. We're gonna save yours for the last.
I remember that song came out.
Wait, I don't remember how does it go? Can you guys kind of sing a little bit so I remember?
Princess here before you.
Mm.
That's what I said now.
Oh my God, I fast forward that one. I skipped that.
No, you don't.
That would, if that was on my playlist on the island. I mean, I might find a tall rock
No, I've
to
seen
climb
it.
up and do and
You know,
do an activity.
Based on that reply, I'm surprised you haven't cited Nickelback in your top 5. Unreal.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do Three Doors Down.
Oh, don't lie. When that song comes on, you do your best Buffalo Bill in front of the mirror.
Oh, I actually do like Flying Horse. Is it Flying Horses?
White horses?
No, is it White Horses?
I don't know.
No, it's that song he plays when he's putting on the lipstick.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
You remember that? That was my least favorite scene in that movie.
It's vividly in my mind.
Oh,
Um,
wait, one more time. What was that song? The band and the song again, Christian? Just so the listeners can.
By Spin Doctors. It was on So I Married an Actor.
Yes,
So
that's
good.
what I was gonna say. It was on. It's on. So I Married an Axe Murder, which that's when that I think it was seventh grade when I first heard that. Maybe seventh grade, eighth grade.
Well,
And I love that song so much, and I was like, "What is this song?" And I didn't know what it was, but then I went to go see So I Married an Axe Murder and waited till the end. I was like, "Oh, that's who sings."
oh yeah, nobody stays after to watch
Mhm.
the credits of a movie to see the songs either. They
Now
still
I
put
do.
it.
Yep.
What was that one movie that had Sixpence, none the richer? What was that? Kiss me. Remember
Every song? I don't know.
that?
Every
that,
movie?
that wasn't So I Married an Axe Murder, was it? I think
I
it was
don't
late
know.
'90s.
It might have been.
I'm
I don't
just
know.
that's one song I remember from that was on a movie soundtrack.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Could be. It could be.
I'm gonna look
Um,
it up
Christian's gonna look it for us while you give us your number one song.
I think Sixpence, none the richer, or Kiss Me. That's super. I don't know
Super.
why I brought that up. Can we delete that, please? Thank you. My last song would have to be Band of Horses, The Funeral. So I've listened to that song at least 300 times. I think my iTunes, old school, I have a Mac computer and iTunes. I would say it's played at least 300 times on my iTunes playlist.
It'd be your number one played song.
Yeah, you know what? I know we're recording right now on my laptop, but I would if it's not number one, it's top three plays on my iTunes.
Great song, good band. For my number one, I'm going Farewell Transmission by Songs Ohio. Shirt on for this occasion. Another very, very long song. It's my favorite song ever written.
What?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it sounds like.
Well,
So that's two songs I got to look up.
He said that like his whole life has just been a waste because he didn't know that song. Well,
You just
I thought you knew me.
right. That put a whole monkey wrench into my universe. Is
Mhm,
that how the saying goes?
Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters is his number one.
What? Look at that.
All right, Christian, what's your number one song?
well,
for-
before I get to the number one,
Okay.
in hopes that it doesn't get edited out of the show, and maybe you ought to title this episode as "She's All That" because that's what movie "Kiss Me" comes from.
That's a banger of a movie, right?
It's a great movie. It's one of my top 5 in high school.
Remember the movie was my favorite.
Look, I mean, he made her so beautiful. It wasn't like she
He
was.
made her.
He made. Oh, no, she or he?
I don't know. Who's that? Is that the Freddie Prinze Jr. vehicle?
Yeah,
Where she's already pretty, and all they
Yeah.
do is just pretty her up. Like it's
Oh, they have she put her
you
hair
know
up.
a lot
last-
about that
Hey,
movie, included
what-
soundtrack.
what's his name was in it? Who's dead now? He was in the Fast and Furious. What's his name? Wasn't he in that?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. He was like, isn't he the douche friend that tries to sabotage it?
I don't know. You're the only
All
one
right,
that watched it.
R.I.P. Paul Walker.
He's probably not.
If he's not in it, then this is funny. If he's in it, then I'm just.
If he's not in it, then don't rest in peace.
I appreciate you looking that up, Christian. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I'll never get those few seconds back in my life.
It's all right. We'll delete it. The audience won't lose that few seconds of their life listening to it.
All right, what's your number one?
Coming in at number one, the album sitting behind me, off of the album sitting behind me, Mouthful of Cavities by Blind Melon. So, Jake, when you go listen to the album, Mouthful of Cavities, it's just so good.
So good. So I'm gonna hold off on listening to that one because I don't want to listen to that one first. I'm gonna listen to everyone but that one and then finish with that one. How's that?
Really good.
Okay. Mouthful of Cavities. I can relate.
Nice. Well,
All right. We'll see you in 10 years. Bye.
See you at the Fog Bank.
Yeah. Send me the address to the fog bank there in Utah.
Oh, it's like they put the whole state of Arkansas in Santa Cruz that day.
It was weird. And then like it's not like we were young. We were what, late 20s, early 30s. So like we'd had some life experiences to know that was a weird place.
well, we're talking about things that people don't know, but so the three of us and my old business partner Max went to Santa Cruz to shoot something for my dad's training business, and we had a couple nights where we were just hanging out after we shot, and we ended up at I don't remember how we ended up there.
We just went to one of the streets that had a few bars and we just
Yeah.
kind of randomly picked it. I don't think there was any rhyme or reason.
No, but it was the fog bank, and we walked in there, and it was like a time warp, or like we hit like a portal. We ended up in a different dimension.
Mhm.
They didn't look like people from Santa Cruz. They didn't look like people. I don't know what was going on there, but the DJ was there with like a rapper. Uh, it was a fun night.
Yeah,
We referenced it for many months, if not many years
Yeah.
after.
All right, Christian, we appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you want to hit on, or that we didn't hit on that you wanted to
no, that
talk
was
about?
fun. That was a fun walk down memory lane.
You brought up Pearl Jam. What's your favorite album or record or CD? You have one?
Boy, I think it's changed as I've got older. It would be 10. I think 10 has
Oh wow.
really been the one. But back then, Versus, Vitology would be like neck and neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Vitology still for me, and then 10.
I was a No Code guy for a very long time, which is I think is an underrated album of theirs, but I think Vitology. There it is. He's got it on screen for us.
He's just ready. Dude, you have a book there? Hold up your book of CDs. Is it one of those big ones that holds 4 on each
No,
page?
these are the ones that don't fit in my book.
They don't fit in your what?
Oh my. Look at that.
They don't fit. I have my books over
Okay.
off to the right.
Way to really keep them in good condition. No scratches, huh?
I ran out of cases.
Well, you have your son buy two for one or
I know.
something when he's getting one for himself.
Hey, check Columbia Records, see if you can get those CDs for a penny. And
Dude, listeners, yeah, I'm gonna go. We're gonna reference this back. I'm gonna go and see if there's a thing online still for something stupid like that, and maybe
Do
I'll
you
just go ahead.
Do you remember how like they got their money from you?
Well,
Do you remember
Well,
that?
they mailed you, and then they said, "Oh, you have to buy at least one more full price CD or two more or whatever." And so I feel like, or they would automatically send you something and charge you like $30 for the CD. I can't remember, but I feel like it was you sent your picks in the mail and the penny or whatever, and then they automatically sent you the additional ones and charged you for it. I don't know. You remember it being different?
You had to buy like 5 price, like $34 each, and it was crazy.
yeah, it was weird. And we talked about it a little bit, but there was no internet. So you had to like do it all via like a catalog or like a postmarked, like already postcard thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was tough.
I'm gonna look into it, do some research, and then we'll we'll get back to you on if it's still an option, and maybe it's something you're interested in. Maybe for your kid, you know what I mean? Get him in debt or bad credit.
I have a picture of me laying on my bed. Like I had somebody take it with probably a wind-up camera, and I'm laying on my bed with my arms out, all these CDs from house like spread all across me. Like I was so excited, baggy socks like hanging off of my feet.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to send that to us.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell
we're gonna post
you
that.
what I've done. It's down in Vintage Jimmy's.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Christian's basement. Is your basement?
Yeah.
Is a time warp, man. I gotta show Jake some pictures when we get off this, but it's pretty fantastic what you made it look. It looks like an old like video store.
Okay.
One more thing, Christian. So you still obviously have CDs and records. What's your go-to equipment when listening to this stuff? You have something that because you're kind of a tech guy too. So if there's anybody out there listening,
Yeah, I have I have a few different CD changers. I really want. There's a Marantz CD player that's like, gosh, I think I can't remember the model number, but anyway, it's gold, and the way that it pops out and opens up, it's so high tech. Like, and it's actually like a really good cassette or a CD player. But I use like a Sony 500 carousel one. And I've got a Sony 5 disc right next to me.
What's the brand that you want?
Marantz, Marantz. It's I know 70s in. I could probably tell you.
I just got some $150 LP or record player off Amazon, but it seems to do the job with all my LPs. CDs, I just don't do anymore. That's just a waste of time.
wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys buy there? Or how long you been there?
Yeah, we've been here living in Utah 5 years. We built a house about 3 years ago.
Oh wow, nice. And you got a good little setup. Is it a man's cave or is it like a music hall down in your basement? What do you I don't understand what James is trying to describe.
Not a man's cave, maybe a non-binary cave, if you will, but no, like I'll send you pictures.
We're definitely deleting that joke out. 'cause
Yeah,
it
you
wasn't-
have to.
it-
You
it's
can't
gonna
have it.
miss.
No, it's a
Sorry.
they them cave.
No, that's cool, man. I'm glad you guys have a house built to your preference and you got a cool little setup. I definitely. Why don't I'll just meet you there. I'll just come over to your house. We don't need to meet for lunch. I'll bring over some Subway. We'll eat in the basement and just talk about music.
Violently shaking his head no.
Oh, I have some crystal clear Pepsi downstairs and some Orbitz drink.
Oh, those
Just on
little
display, or do you like
balls.
really have it where it's?
They're unopened.
I
The
don't-
crystal clear Pepsi in the glass it looks like the color of Pepsi now because it just changed over time.
Yeah.
And I have an unopened can, and there's like maybe a few ounces in it because it's evaporated over time.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's not, you sound like a hoarder, really.
It looks like an organized hoarder's basement. It's very organized, but probably have
Well,
about
I'll see when I get there. I'll let you know what I think. Maybe give some pointers on how to make it a little better presentable.
Christian,
points.
it's not key. It's not key. The wrong house. I don't even know if
It's all right.
that
This
means
is
something, but
I've had enough of you for at least another 10 years. We're good, bro.
that's kind of how it is. Like I feel like that after the fog bank, we'd hop on a call for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, I never want to talk to this guy again.
But then
Yeah.
he'd buy you some chicken McNuggets and be
Then-
like, all right, he's all right.
Yeah, then yeah, exactly. Then he does something nice like out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh, that guy's
Well, I'm a
amazing.
nice dude. I'm a nice dude. I just say mean things.
There's just a tax that you have to pay when you hang out with him.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget though, like seeing him and your dad interact. It was like, do you remember the movie Chances Are with Robert Downey Jr., where like I think he dies and he's like their son, but it's him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I was seeing like a young version of your dad, like facing an old version of your dad. And I was like, this is so weird.
What's that? 2 peas in a pod for sure.
It was
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. If we ever do like a 80s or 90s movie podcast, we got to have Christian back on because he probably got him down at his basement on VHS and Laserdisc.
yeah, definitely. That was fun.
Yeah, sure.
We hurt his feelings.
James's dad, I still call him Uncle Jimmy. And that's where my name came from. Uncle Jimmy. Like Josiah's kids call me Uncle Jimmy, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't care how old I am, I'm still gonna call your dad Uncle Jimmy because
Oh,
I
yeah.
just can't break that.
I liked him. I like that he didn't take crap from anybody. That's one thing I do like about your dad.
But yeah, he's very nice. He'll say some, crazy things every once in a while, but you're like, oh, I know what he's saying. I know what he means. You just decipher it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Little-
Well, Jim, I hope Jim's listening to this. We all really appreciate the little things about you,
yeah. Like when he took
And on that note, bye.
Good seeing you, bud.
She's all that.
She's all that. Make sure you watch it. Get the DVD.
All right, we'll stop that.
Later, dude.
there. Wait, you can stay on for a second if you want.
No, later, dude. See ya. Goodbye.
Oh man.